Hi, and welcome to Legal Writing and Analysis. I look forward to meeting each of you, all of you, and getting to know you over the course of this semester together. And we'll all meet in person in just a couple of weeks. Each week, with each new module, there'll be a brief introductory video like this, an overview. And that will be where I can flag things for you if I think that there are things that need extra attention or might be challenging. Maybe if there's a funny deadline, I want to give you a heads up about that before you head into doing the work for the week. So get used to seeing these videos. And for this week, I want to just briefly introduce myself, offer a couple of suggestions about approaching this course, and then talk to you about the assignments this week. This is a shockingly large picture of me. I find it distracting, so we'll move on quickly. But mainly, I wanted to say, first of all, I have 3 names that are difficult to spell, and a couple of them are difficult to pronounce. I am perfectly happy with Catherine. If you would like to call me Catherine, I am fine with it. If you want to use Professor, I prefer Professor Lohmeyer. Was my name for longer than Roar has been. And by way of introduction, I went to law school part-time at night. I went back when I was 31 and I finished when I was 35. It was a 4-year night program and I worked during the day. And I share that because I know what a big commitment you all are making, what an investment you're making in yourself to do this. And I know it's not easy. You've got other things going on in your lives that are going to compete for your time and your attention. And so I am rooting for you, and I am here if you have questions or concerns. To that end, this is my Colleges of Law email. It is not one that I check daily. I will try to check it every day or 2, but what I'd like to ask you to do is within our Canvas course to use the inbox function, and if we could use that as our primary sort of route of communication back and forth when we're not together or in a office hours or something like that. The plus is that I get a notification each time I receive something in the Canvas inbox, and so that will make it much more likely that I will get your message quickly. Of course, you're welcome to use the Colleges of Law email, just if you'll give me a little grace, 24, 48 hours, because I may not check that as frequently. Once you so going back to that, sorry, if you're not super familiar with Canvas, that's the inbox is down the left column. And once you click on that, it will open up and look very much like every other email program you've ever seen. You'll have your email there, and then you can click on this compose a new message, pop open a message box. I can choose whether I'm going to email just one of the sections or email all of the students or some of you in groups, and you can do the same. And then you also have the option to attach documents or video or audio recordings. So again, I just encourage you and ask you to please use that as probably the most direct and reliable way to get information back and forth between us. And then about the course. I know that legal writing can be a real challenge. And there will be times probably that all of you will feel frustrated. And that is normal. I know that doesn't make it feel any better, but it's part of the process. I loved law school. I even loved legal writing because I found it to be a puzzle, which I found infinitely challenging and entertaining. But it's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's a whole new way of thinking and writing. And I worked as a paralegal before and during law school, but I worked in immigration law, which is administrative law, and we didn't do litigation where I worked. And so I was not as, I didn't do the kind of writing that that litigators do, that transactional lawyers do when they're evaluating a case. And so that was very new and very challenging for me. And I want you to know I'm here as a resource, and I don't expect you to be able to do this out of the gate, and you shouldn't expect you to be able to do it out of the gate. So we're going to do this together. There is zero expectation that you're going to be perfect in everything you submit. All I want you to do is try, and it will come. It will take practice. It will take focus. It will take being open to feedback on a certain level, because I think all of us feel have an attachment to our written work product, and it can be difficult to, hear, nope, revise it, change it. One way, it's quite good that you go through this practice in law school, because it's very much a part of practicing and working with more senior lawyers who will want things done a certain way, and offer you guidance about how to approach projects. So all of that introduction to say, I really, really like our text. I was careful and really trimmed down to what I think are the essentials in terms of textbooks and activities and things like that. But our textbook, A Lawyer Writes, I like it a lot. What I like most about it are the examples. Nearly every single thing it explains, it gives you an example of, and oftentimes it'll give you a not so good example and a better example, so that you can look at those, and literally you can use them as sort of a template to copy when you go to tackle some of the trickier parts of legal writing. It's a great resource. So I want to offer that to you, and also mention that we do have some online interactive activities in the first part of the semester, in the first few weeks, and I've done all of them. I really like them. I think they're especially helpful if you are a person who learns by doing. So you'll read about it in our book, and then you actually get to do it in this controlled environment. I want to suggest to you that as you'll be given cases to look at, and little hypos to review, you can download those, and I would encourage you to download them and save them somewhere that you can access them, because they recur. You'll reuse them in lesson 2 and lesson 3, and so keep those handy. And then lastly, I just want you to know that as old as I am am not unaware of AI, chat GPT, yada, yada, yada. I know they exist. I know they can really be helpful. But I just want to say that legal writing is a very special animal, and chat GPT is not great at it yet. But the real hazards are that AI doesn't know enough yet to always discern whether case law is controlling, if it's still good law, and to do what I hope will start to come through as we work together this semester is that the writing is almost secondary, because it's the analytical thinking, the approach is very specific and rigorous, and I am sure that ChatGPT can do a decent version of a CREAC, a little chunk of legal analysis, but I am certain that it can't do more sophisticated legal analysis on trickier issues where, that are more multifaceted, that have sort of more complex underpinnings. And I mention that because I know that legal writing is a muscle. Legal analysis is a muscle. And we're first going to have to work to find it, right? When you first start exercising, you're like, how do I isolate that muscle? So first we're going to work to find the muscles, but then we build them up, and it's building blocks. And so practicing this in an introductory legal writing class is the first step. And if you don't get those building blocks now, you don't have them to build on later as you want to do more sophisticated things. And I don't mean to preach at you. I just want to advocate for the importance of and the benefits really of learning to find these muscles and use them on your own. And I understand you may, use other forms of assistance in terms of AI, chat GPT, but I would like your work product to be your own, and ultimately you're going to need to understand the component parts, even if you're reviewing someone else's writing or reviewing artificial intelligence generated writing. So I'm not going to harp on that too hard. Sorry about that. That went on a bit longer than I wanted. This week, your first assignment is a self-assessment, and you're going to do a few of those. I think we have 5 of them throughout the course of this semester. I'd really like you to engage. They're not graded, but I hope at least some of you will find value in it, and kind of taking some time to reflect on your past writing experience, how this is different, how you are coming along in terms of making progress, and where you need help. It's a place where we can be in dialogue about how you're doing. And then those West academic interactive exercises. Oh, wait, going back to the self-assessment, that is due early because that's sort of our attendance, our roll call for this class. So check the due date on that, and I suggest you do that self-assessment first and then go on to the other assignment, which is an interactive lesson. And it looks like this when you open up the site, and you're going to do the first lesson here. It's the objective writing case synthesis, and then the lesson is called Understanding Judicial Decision, Issue Holding, Reasoning, and Rule of Law. And that's right out of the gate. So if you do the reading first in A Lawyer Writes, and then come and tackle this assignment, I think it will make much more sense and go smoothly for you. And then just a final reminder here, when you complete that assignment, you'll be able to print, by which I mean save, download as a PDF, both your results and your certificate of completion. And you'll upload those, save them into Canvas as kind of as your submission for this assignment. You don't need to get a specific score. I'm not even going to look at your score unless you ask me to talk to you about it. But that's just to show me that you got it done. Okay? And I wish you well, and we'll see you soon.